you know what time it is? It's the King Ducky Show. Crackle out of your can like you don't give a fuck. Come on. I can't hear you quacking, y'all. Come on, quack. 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 Quack.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the King Ducky Show. I will say, this month, this episode isn't really going to be a fun episode, but it is going to be an episode that is going to be important to a lot of you for a very long time. I can't say how or why it'll be important, but I know that what I will have to say and the story that I will tell will reach out to a lot of you. Now, as the time that I'm recording this, it's probably around the same time that some of you are listening to it. It is 2 a.m., and I feel like there was no better time to talk about it than right now. So, with it being June and it being Men's Mental Health Month, I will say that we as a people, as men, as women, they, thems, all of us, every human being walking around, no one is more special than the other. No one is more important. No one is lesser, worse, better, nothing. We're all the same. We all go through shit. We all experience heartbreak. We all experience struggle, strife. Now, they may be in different ways, but I can tell you that we all struggle. Now, me saying that is not saying that Elon Musk has the same struggles as good old King Ducky, or King Ducky has the same struggles as Stephen Daniel. Like, we all have our different struggles in life, but we all struggle. And I am of the opinion that Men's Mental Health Month and Women's Mental Health Month shouldn't exist. Like, we shouldn't be reduced to a month to where we care about a certain gender or certain skin color's mental health, or the fact on whether or not that selection of people is doing okay. We should spend every day making sure that everyone is okay. I mean, I know a lot of you probably wonder why I end an episode with someone's name and with something positive to say about them. And that's because at the end of every episode, I ended off with hoping that one person hears it, and it's their name that I'm talking to. And that the thing positive that I was saying about them is something that they don't like about themselves. And someone they don't know, someone who absolutely has no way in hell met them once in their life, cares. I mean, that's why I do it, is because everyone, and I mean everyone, should feel important. Absolutely everyone. And there shouldn't be just a month where we care about men's mental health in June. Now, I do find it kind of funny because my birthday is this month, but I think we should care about men's mental health every day, women's mental health every day, Black, white, Indian, Native American, Muslim, Hindu, Polish, poor, rich. We should care about everybody every day. Gays, veterans, trans. The list could go on. There's all types of people out there going through all types of stuff. My time in the military has introduced me to so many different types of people that I would have never, ever either had the balls to talk to or just wouldn't talk to in the beginning. And the Army showed me that anybody can be anybody. We can't just judge a book by its cover, and we have to care for everybody. We have to make sure people are okay, that they're breathing, that they're living, that they're eating right, that they're sleeping right, which I know, a little bit hypocritical recording this episode at 2:21 a.m. But it's okay. It's okay because the best conversations happen past midnight. I'm pretty sure we can all relate to sitting up with a couple of our friends just on a Saturday night because we got our moms to let us go have a sleepover with the one group of friends that we have, and we're staying up late watching Adult Chicken, experimenting with porn, laughing at it. I mean, I remember. I have a funny story. It's back when I don't remember how old I was, but I was hanging out with my friend Cameron, and we got chased by the cops because we were asking old people for lighters, and they thought we were smoking, which in reality, we were doing something much worse. We were burning napkins and throwing them in the sewer. And then we ran back to his house, and we were not jacking off or masturbating to porn. No. We were watching porn, and we thought it was hilarious because back then, so we saw the dude slap her ass, and then the slap sound would come like a minute later, and it was the funniest shit to us. And like those days were the days that you could stay up until fucking 3 a.m. and talk to your best friend after watching a horror movie or something and a couple minutes of porn, just laughing and then going to grab a bag of Cheez-Its. You could talk about exams stressing you out and all sorts of stuff. How you like this girl or you like this guy, but you don't know if they're into you, or if you're in a relationship, you could talk to them about how things aren't going so well or how you don't know what to do in that certain situation. And as we grow up, as we mature, for some reason, we decide to let those things go. For some reason, we decide that therapy isn't at all something that is doable. Like, it's seen as like something you do when you're weak, when you're at your last straw, when in reality, all therapy is you finding technically that best friend, that person who knows you better than anyone else, and just talking to them about everything. And yeah, sometimes they'll hurt your feelings and make you relive things you don't want to relive through, but for the most part, it is just a best friend who will honestly be honest with you when you need it and have your back and be there to talk to you and get things off your chest when you need it too. And those are the most important types of things. Therapy, friends, family, support systems. I know you hear it all the fucking time. I literally just got done watching TikTok before I came to record this episode. So I have a lot of material fresh in my brain. You see it all over TikTok, where you see is like people saying that you thought you were going to be the greatest. You thought you were going to be the best. Get up and do it. And you just like, oh my God, I know I hate myself, but why do I need to get out of bed? You know, you don't need to get out of bed. You can breathe. You can relax. People grieve things differently. People deal with things differently. Yes, this guy that you just saw on TikTok, he might have a 6-pack of abs and muscles the size of a fucking school bus, but his way of dealing with pain, his way of dealing with grief, heartbreak, whatever you're going through, depression, his way of dealing with that is going to the gym and kicking ass and taking names at the gym. But your way could be writing a book, recording a podcast, or playing video games, or hanging out with family, or honestly sleeping. These are all coping mechanisms. Eating is a coping mechanism, and they can all be unhealthy if you talk about it or do it too much, you know? Like people who go to the gym too much, they can develop issues with their muscles. They can literally start taking steroids because they got body dysmorphia and they feel like they're not making enough progress. Bulimia and the other eating disorder that starts with an A, I can't remember. But I mean, there's so many issues where if you take your coping mechanisms too far, you could cause a lot of problems to yourself. But coping mechanisms are different. I mean, let me just tell you through a situation that I'm currently going through. It's causing me to think a lot and figure a lot of things out. And honestly, I don't know how to deal with it. But a year and a half ago, I decided I was going to quit looking for a relationship. You know how you go through life and you get told by everybody, and I mean fucking everybody, that good things come to those who wait. And if you grew up in a Christian family, you've definitely heard this. Like, if you just wait for her to come, God will bring her into your life. And you hear all these things. And you never really try it, because all throughout high school and all throughout pretty much your whole grade school, you're taught to earn things. You're taught you not wait for them. Things will not be given to you. You must earn them. So you spend your life fighting and trying to control the situation of, hey, I need to do everything I can in my power to make sure I find someone to be happy with. Well, I finally said, fuck it. and I quit. And then the funniest thing happened the day after I hit fuck it and I quit looking for a relationship. I started working on myself. I went to the gym. I was very active on this podcast. I was recording a podcast almost every 3 weeks. I streamed every day. I mean, I was on top of my shit. I was king of my own world. And that's another thing. I'm going to put the pause on the story here real quick. Being a king or queen of your own world. Yes, you might not be king of the world, but in a sort of way you are. If you feel like you're on top of your shit, if you feel on top of the world and someone tries to belittle you and say that you're not good enough, you are. Because something you get told in the military a lot, and I will repeat it here for you guys, is perception is reality. Because what you believe to be true is true to you. I mean, look at Schrodinger. The cat is either alive or it's dead, you know? You never know until you open the box. And if you feel like you're on top of the world, you can continue to be on top of the world. You can tell yourself every day that you're on top of the world, and you would be because you're on top of your world, your perspective reality, because life is what you make it. You can choose to be on top of the world. You, the listener, me, the podcaster. I mean, fuck, my dog could choose to be on top of the world, and she would be. I mean, anyone can be on top of the world. Everyone can be on top of the world at the same fucking time. I mean, you see it all the time with these celebrities who we put on pedestals, and in reality, they're just normal people that got lucky. Yeah, they might be talented in some way, but I mean, who isn't talented in some way? We all have talents. I mean, me, I can find and figure out anything. Nothing is hidden from me. I can figure out anything. My research and my investigative abilities are top fucking notch. And I can do pretty good voices too. I'll have to do them for you guys sometime. Not tonight though. Tonight's not the night. But I mean, someone else, one of you guys listening could be an amazing balancer. Like you might have balance of, I don't know, somebody who has good balance, but like a trapeze artist, do they do balance stuff? Maybe. I don't know. But you know, everyone here has a talent and everyone can be on top of their world. Okay. If you take anything from this podcast, if you listen to me and you're listening to this on your way to work or in the gym or going to bed, whatever, if you find comfort from my podcast, then I hope you find comfort in this and knowing that what I'm telling you is true. You can be on top of your world. So back to the story. I was on top of my world, right? I was killing it. I had stream going. I had the podcast going. I had everything. Everything was looking up ducky. And then I decided to go out one night, and not saying that I was off my game or anything, but no. And this did not ruin anything, but it has put me into the situation I'm in right now. But I went out one night with one of my friends, and I met a girl. She was great. She was absolutely, she was everything I was asking for. She had herself figured out. She had everything taken care of. She was cautious. She was smart. We were slow about things. And so we kind of hit it off. Yeah, there were some things at the beginning. For the most part, it was pretty good. Looking back at it now, it was probably the best 6 months of my life. And yes, I will say 6 months because, it was more like 8 months, I think, whenever the first oopsie happened. I don't really know how to describe it, but a couple months go by, 6 to 8 months, and everything's going good. And then it just wasn't. Stuff started seeming off. And like I said before, I can investigate into anything. I can overthink things and completely be true. A lot of people say that I used to be a psychic, something like that. I'll pause the story one last time and then we'll continue with the story. When my sister was in high school, I think I graduated at this point, or I was on my senior year because I was a senior, she was a freshman, and I don't know if she graduated at this point or not. But she was trying out for the color guard, and I told my mom, I was like, if she comes out crying, it's because she dropped it. And 10 minutes later, I shit you not, she comes out in tears, bawling, right? She dropped it. She still made the color guard, and I think she was varsity for like 2 years. She did amazing, but I fucking called it. Right. And for most of my life, whenever I make an assumption or I make a guess about something, it's usually an educated guess, and I'm never wrong. Now, not saying that I have never been wrong about something that I haven't been able to make an educated guess about. No. But when I have been able to make an educated guess about something with facts and details, I have pretty much always been right. Now, I started looking into things. I started thinking about things a lot more instead of just letting them go and letting them slide. And I started realizing that something wasn't adding up. And then disaster struck. A couple days after I started putting two and two together, it happened. And me and this girl, we broke up. It was a temporary thing. We were going to break up and we were going to figure out what was going on and we were going to fix it. Well, as we had just fixed things, we were still living in separate houses at the time, but we had just fixed things and we had talked about getting back together. Well, she asked me to take her to a bar. I was like, sure. Next thing I know, she tells me that she was like, okay, I'll just come pick me up from the bar at like this time. Right? So I show up at that time. She's not there. I go around and I start asking people. I'll be like, hey, have you seen my girlfriend? I'm looking for my lady. And have you guys seen her? And I was just hearing the worst shit from everybody. So I decided to call her. And I get that this wasn't my best moment. This night that I'm about to tell you guys is not the best night I've ever had. But I actually cared about this woman. And I thought what I was doing was fighting for our relationship. I was fighting for her, making sure she was okay. And making sure I was the one to make sure she was okay. Because I didn't want her to ruin her life. So this is just so you guys know where my head's at after all this happens. So a lot of stuff happened. And then I was told a lot of shit that was not helping me feel comfortable in the situation. And she was not at this bar. That I had been confirmed. After about 10 people tell you that she is not at this place and she left, it's kind of a good thing. Like a good, hey, they might be onto something. So I decided to call her and I blew up her phone. I think I called her about 27 times and then she answered. And I was like, hey, where the fuck are you? It is an hour past when you're about to be here. The bar closes in another hour. Where are you? You told me to be here. You're not. And she was like, okay, hey, I'm with my friend. As I know who this friend is. I had her on Facebook. So I was like, okay, cool. Are you coming back? She was like, yeah, we stopped to go cross town and pick up something for my friend. I will be back at the bar in like 10 minutes. I was like, okay, cool. Hour and a half goes by. It's 2:30. Bar is closed already at this point. I'm the only one in the bar parking lot. And I am now blowing up her phone again. She doesn't answer. So I call her friend. Now, again, said this wasn't my best moment. I'm not perfect, but I wanted to make sure she was okay and she was safe. And she had never done anything like this before. So I call her friend. I say, hey, where is my wife? And so she tells me that, and she hands the phone to my lady. And I say, hey, where are you? I don't care. I'm not angry. We can go home and we can go to sleep and we can talk about it in the morning. You sound like you were fucked up. And I don't know what, I hope you're just drunk, but we don't know because I haven't been with you. I know that the person that you're with has a drug problem, so I hope you're okay. She says, yes, I'm down here at the gas station. I was like, okay, don't go anywhere. I'll meet you there in 10. So I drive down to the gas station and they're not there. And at this point, something clicked in me that I was not going to be seeing her that night. And at that point, I was doing everything I could to fight for the relationship that we had before this night and to be able to make sure that she is safe and she was okay. Now, her friend, I know that her friend was on cocaine because the way she was talking and the fact that she is always on cocaine. So every time she talked to me, she was like, I have her. It's going to be okay. I have her. And I was like, okay. She told me she was going to be here at this gas station. There's only one of these gas stations. Where the fuck are you? So I can take her home, right? Not unreasonable. It's like she needs to be at her home. Okay. She says that they're not going to show up. And I say, if you do not bring her home, I am going to not be okay with this. And I was like, tell her that if you guys don't bring her here, I'm not going to be okay. Because I want to make sure that she is safe. I want to make sure she gets home. And I do not trust you two. I trust her. I do not trust you or your friend that you have with her, because you two are terrible people and I do not trust you. And then I hear her friend tell her, my lady, that I am being unreasonable and she just needs to hang out with them for the rest of the night and that everything will be fine. And I was like, everything will not be fine, because I was like, I'm about to blow my brains out over here because I am just losing it trying to find out where she is and make sure that she is safe and get her home. You guys obviously don't care about her, so please tell me where she is. And then a guy grabs the phone. He is obviously not one of the three females, including my lady friend and the two other girls that were in the car. So I was like, who are you? And he's like, my name's Jacob. It's not his actual name, but he's like, my name's Jacob. And you need to chill out. It's like, what are you driving? I was like, you can ask my lady. She knows what I'm driving. Get here, right? Find it in your hearts to end the party now and bring my lady to me. It is almost 3 a.m. She needs to get home. We need to go to bed. Okay. She's an adult. We have adult things to do. And so Jake then hangs up on me and I start panicking because I'm in a gas station parking lot hoping that they show up. So I just put my car in park and I wait. And so I'm continue to waiting. And I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting. The next thing I know, my passenger door opens and I look to the right to check and see who's opening my passenger door, hoping it's my lady. And then my driver's door opens and I get pulled out of my car by 4 police officers. Now, yes, I did have my firearm in the car, but I was not intentionally going to hurt myself, nor will I ever hurt myself. But they were under the intention that I was going to hurt myself. Now, the things running through my head at this point is there's only a couple people who know what I said and could turn it against me. And it was my lady and her friends. Now, apparently, my lady's friend, our mutual friend, is the one who called the cops because she wanted to have a night out on the town with my lady. Now, we go on. The cops, they finally recognize me, because I was good friends with one of the sergeants that pulled me out of the car. They get me off the ground and they sit down and we have a talk. And they're like, hey, man, what the fuck is going on here? I was like, are you guys able to tell me who called? Because I did not want to find out it was my lady. And they're like, no, we can't tell you who called. I was like, okay. I was like, was it a girl or a guy? I'm like, it's a girl. I was like, okay. But I go through a long conversation and they tell me that it's just not worth it, man. She obviously doesn't care about you. Go home. And I was on my way home. I was about to give up. Then I get a call from my friend that took me to the bar the night that I met my lady. He says, hey, man, I don't want you to freak out and I don't want you to show up here bringing all this police and drama and bullshit to my front door. And I said, first off, man, I didn't bring the police here to toot and totem. I didn't bring any drama or bullshit. The mutual friend is the one who is causing the problems with me, my lady, and the police. He was like, okay, still don't show up here, right? And in the back, I hear partying and everything going on. And I was like, okay. So I show up because he told me she was there and I wanted to make sure she got home. So I show up and he's like, dude, you're being crazy. And I was like, no, I'm not being crazy. She told me to pick her up at 12:30 and now it is 4 a.m. and I want to make sure she gets home, right? And then he talks to me. He's like, dude, honestly, he's like, I don't know what's going on in her head, but I can see what's going on in yours. And I know you care about her. And I know that she's fucking with you right now. And I know that things are happening. And obviously she doesn't feel any sort of way about you. He's like, but you are acting a little crazy. I mean, you literally came halfway across town to try and find her and take her home. And some would say that that is crazy. Others would say it was a gesture of love and gesture of romance. But some would say it's a little crazy. And I can agree on both sides. It was a little crazy. But I was just trying to make sure she got home. Well, next thing I know, I just decided to leave. I was like, fuck it. And then I was going to go to my house, but I decided to go to her house and clean up her room and just tidy up her house so she had something nice to come back to if she was going to come back at all. And then I decided to just go home, go to bed. And at that point, it was like 6, 7 a.m. I pass out, right? Next thing I know, I get woken up by my stepmom because she was who I was living with. My stepmom and my dad. My stepmom tells me that my lady had came by begging to talk to me. And so what did I do? Did I listen to the cops, my friend, tell me to just forget about her, never do it again? No, of course not, because I loved her and I still do. I mean, you can't just unlove somebody. That's not something that's ever going to happen. You can listen to these people on TikTok tell you that you can unlove and forget about people, but that's just, it's not going to happen. So as soon as I heard that, I ran straight to her. I said, hey, what happened? What the fuck? She was like, I get it. I was like, what happened? She was like, I don't know. I honestly don't remember. I think I was drugged by my friend and I don't honestly remember anything that happened that night. I was like, okay. So we didn't talk about it anymore. We just let it go. And we also let go of the thing that happened before too. And that's where we fucked up because she might have been able to just let it go, not think about it, whatever. But me, I can't because I got hurt really bad twice, but I still loved her. I let it happen. In my head, this was my fault. She went out and partied all night because of me. She did the things she did because of me. It was my fault, so I had to be better. I had to fix things. So I quit streaming. I quit playing video games when she was at the house. I quit touching my phone. But the pain of what she did just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And it just got to a point to where any sort of little hurts, because everyone goes through those kind of hurts in a relationship. They happen all the time, whether you want them to or not. There's little things that your partners, your significant others are going to do that are going to hurt you. And they're not doing it on purpose. No. And we can all agree that they're not doing it on purpose, but they still hurt. But the little things that they do, they tend to wrap themselves up in the pain that we never addressed, that I suffered through before. And it just pretty much began to snowball. And it snowballed and it snowballed. And it turned into this big thing of, I can't get over the hurt. I can't. And whenever we were talking about it, we decided that if she couldn't fix it, because there was a lot of problems that we have had multiple conversations on. And every time we talked about it, she made excuses. She said that said reasons on why she couldn't fix these things. And then when they were fixed for her, she was like, well, I did it now. And I decided it was too late because I had been through too much hurt and given up too much time and was given too little respect in the areas that it mattered. I'm not saying she didn't respect me in other places, but I could not deal with the pain anymore. And so now I'm at the point of, am I going to make the same choices that I made before? Am I going to go back to her? Am I going to stay on my own this time? But it all really depends because I'm actually doing some thinking about it this time and I'm not just going to run back to her like I want to. Yes, I love her and I care about her and I want to make sure she's okay. But if I can't get over the hurt, no matter what we do, no matter what we say, if she continues on with different little things that continue to hurt me, then it's just going to end up back in this spot. And it's just going to continue to get worse and worse and worse until someone eventually ends up hurting themselves to a much bigger spot. And I tell you that story to tell you this. Relationships are the biggest thing that causes depression, that causes suicide, that causes self-harm, is relationships. Because relationships are the biggest thing to ever happen to anyone. No matter what you say, no matter how shitty you feel about a relationship, no matter how much dog shit you think the relationship was and how you don't care and how it's going to be okay or it is what it is or this podcaster's full of shit, whatever. A relationship is the biggest thing anyone can do in their lives. I mean, it's almost bigger than having a child, partially because of the whole chicken and egg thing. The relationship had to exist for there to be a child. I mean, even if it was purely sexual relationship, it was still a relationship. And these things hurt a lot. And I know some people don't see the hurt or don't feel the hurt until much later on, but it hurts everybody in the end. Everyone gets hurt by relationships. Everyone. Not just the men or the gay people or the trans people. Not just Tanner over there or Chelsea or God, he's so sensitive or she's too masculine. She doesn't feel the pain. Everybody feels the pain. They just have either better ways of holding it back or hiding it. And with it being Men's Mental Health Month, I just want to say, not just check up on the men. Yes, check up on all the men in your lives. Check up on your dad, on your brothers, on your boyfriends. But don't forget about the other people too. Everybody matters. Everybody. And I absolutely wish there was a way I could see the first and last names of the people, or like usernames or something of the people who listen to this podcast. Because you guys mean a lot to me. And I hope that one day I can mean a lot to you guys. And I hope that I do. I tell myself that I mean a lot to you guys. Because every month, every week, honestly, I see at least 10 people download my podcast a day. And to those 10 of you who download my podcast, I absolutely cherish every single one of you who listen to this podcast every time I release an episode, who are excited to listen to an episode. And to anyone who might be listening, I mean, shit, even if my lady is listening, I know that the last, 40 minutes of me talking have been difficult to listen to, and you might have clicked off already. But I care about every single one of you. I care about the listeners. I care about people who I may have burnt bridges with in the past. So I am not perfect. I might be awesome, but I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes. I've got skeletons. We all do. If anyone says they don't have any skeletons in their closet, they're definitely lying. We've all made definite mistakes. Now, some not as bad as others. I'm not saying my skeletons are that big, but I do have skeletons. I mean, I have debt. I have definitely made mistakes with certain people in my life, but check up on everybody. Everybody goes through something. And that is why I told you that story. Whether who hears it or not, I told you that story so that you could have someone to relate to. If you've ever sat there and done something absolutely batshit fucking crazy, just out of pure caring for somebody, or just trying to show them that you are the one and only person who will ever be there for their well-being, who will ever care for them unconditionally, that you are not alone. You did not make a mistake. You were doing what in your heart you thought was right. And even if it ended up in you getting hurt, you did your best. And I, King Ducky, am proud of you. You did not deserve to get hurt. You did not deserve to feel the way you do. Everybody deserves to be happy, whether that's with the person that hurt you, or it's on your own, or with someone else. It doesn't matter. That's up for you to decide. But everyone deserves to be happy. And I'm talking about long-term happiness, not happiness that'll be there for a couple years and then oopsies or something like that, long-term permanent happiness. Everyone deserves it. And honestly, it is my goal that one day throughout this podcast, I will see or find some way to get every single one of you to be happy. I will find some way, whether it's looking forward to my podcast or leaving a comment and you're saying that I made you laugh or I made you feel comfortable with this sort of situation or something. Whatever happens, I will always be here for you guys to listen to. And I mean, push comes to shove, I will always be here for you guys to talk to. You can always come to my Twitch channel. You can always come to my Discord. You can find my Discord through my Twitch. I'll even link a Discord link to Steven so he can put it in the description. You guys can come to my Discord and you can privately message me and talk to me. If you guys ever need someone to reach out to and you don't want to call the hotline, or you don't want to call your family because you're worried that someone will judge you or someone will find out, you can come to me. And I am completely anonymous. I will talk to you and I will listen and I will make sure that you are okay, because I want everyone to have permanent happiness. You people matter to me. And that's not just the people listening right now. That's the people who listen to this in 20 weeks. That's the people who possibly listen to this in 20 years. Shit, that's for the archaeologists that are digging up this podcast out of a hard drive sitting on my desk in 500 years. You all matter to me. So don't you dare tell yourselves that I don't matter to anyone or no one cares, because I do. Even if I've never met you, even if I've never seen your face or seen what you look like, you are all important to me. And it would 100% ruin me if I found out that one of my listeners, whether you're a long-time listener or you're brand new, if I were to lose one of my listeners to something like self-harm, you people matter to me. And I'm sorry that this episode wasn't able to be funny or anything like that, but you guys matter. Okay? Mr. Jackson, I will say that your smile has brought an absolute sunshine to my complete week. And I absolutely appreciate the fact that you go out of your way to smile through no matter what happens. Keep it up, Mr. Jackson. Thank you, guys. That has been my time. I will see you here in the next episode, which will most likely be more entertaining. And I will also have some big news for you guys next episode. Big news, okay? So, see you guys next time.